Good job!
Hello! Hello, hello. Hope everybody's doing good today. Also, I said it already, but thank you for following Foregathers. Yeah. Ugh. Just got done getting my drink, turning my fan off. My room is hot. But I am ready for this interesting story game. Take a sip. Alrighty. Cans! Yo, yo! How you doing today? Oh. Wait, what? You gotta stop having your streams be on Tuesday. It's too tempting to just work while you stream instead.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you.
That's unfortunate.
And I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Okay. Which I did again because I want more people to see this game.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Very pretty game. Oh.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked
Looks like
urgent,
Happy Roads.
open immediately.
I could see that.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
No trespassing. Trespassers will be prosecuted. You can't own a forest.
My mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Oh shit. Let's go left.
The truth is,
You can't have my booty.
even after I inherited the house,
But hello, Willisome.
I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
Oh, Washington.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it. As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
I mean, it looks like a death trap. Maybe that's why. That tower does not exactly look safe.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Not sure. I know it's a narrative game. Missing poster. Okay. Can I pick that up? Sure can't.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Inside.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Now, what would that key go to? What?
Crawling through the
I guess
doggy
that
door
works.
used to be a lot easier when I was 11. For the first time in years,
Eddie, Dawn, Lewis, Milton, and Edith.
I
Hey,
felt
Kjork.
like I was home.
How's it going?
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
It might be Edie, but it could be Eddie. Loving memory, Lewis Finch. Beloved brother to Edith, son of Dawn, great-grandson. Finch Family Cemetery. Goes. Alive. Taking short break to try to remove a headache. Well, this seems like it'll be a calm game, so might be good for that. Ooh, apple pie. Next to a lot of canned fish.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Oh, they were on oxygen.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Are you really propping your TV up on books? That seems dangerous.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Got stuck.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
That's where all the good stuff is. Go down there.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
What the fuck happened to this family? Also, why is this door cocked up?
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
What? What? There's a lot of stuff going on with this family. Hey, can I ride Grandma's chair? Can I ride Grandma? No, okay.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms.
Oh, what?
Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
What? Huh? What?
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Okay.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
What? What the fuck is wrong with this family? What?
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
You tell me Gregory lived in the toilet? Is that what I'm supposed to take here? I hope not. That's a sad existence.
Whenever people ask me about my family,
Check out all their birth and death dates. I'll take a peek at that again in a second.
Barbara.
Okay, Barbara was a director. Much is clear. What do we got here? Sven, 1915 to 1964. Edie, 1917 to 2010. Okay. Calvin, 1950. He lived 11 years? Wait. Yeah, what? The fuck? Poor Calvin. Okay. And Sam, I guess, is still alive, according to that. Gregory lived 1 year? Huh? Oh, I don't like, wait, why did he live 1 year in the toilet? I thought that implied something, but that's a full year in the toilet. What? (1944 to 1960). She lived, was that not 20 years? 16 years? 16 years.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years.
Oh,
until
okay.
America grew out of it.
She wasn't a director, she was an actor. Okay. 16 years old. God damn. People die fast in this family, I guess, except Edie. Edie lived a long time. Molly. Lived 10 years. What had happened to this family?
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Wait, hang on. Oh, yeah, okay. I like her door. Her door's pretty good.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
I like Walter's room.
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
This family seems like there's a lot going on. I guess I say there's a lot going on, but this family seems like there's just a lot of dead people, so I guess consequently not a lot going on. Whale shark. Hey, Chew.
Louis always told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Whale shark. Yeah, this room. This is a nice room. Oh, wait, what's this? I just noticed that. They have the Finch's sign down here. I like this.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
I mean, I guess. This seems like a really elaborate way to conceal... Yeah, okay.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
This house is pretty cool.
But I had no idea what was behind that door.
This reminds me of like the
I had
Meet the
no idea where
Robinsons
all this was
house.
gonna
It just
lead.
seems like one of those places, like super crazy.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here. Before my mom sealed the doors.
Why would your mom seal the doors?
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving.
Oh.
So I looked around for something to eat.
Oh, we're Molly now. Candy?
My Halloween candy was all gone.
Dang it. I'm not gonna... No, you're not eating gerbil food, child. I refuse to make that your canon story. No.
I kept eating and eating.
No! Not the... Don't eat the toothpaste! No! God damn it, child. No! No, don't... don't eat those! That's bad! That's Holly, you don't eat that! I'll eat the gerbil
The
food.
gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
It's a carrot at least.
Mom, can I come out now?
Oh, what the fuck?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Who locks their child into their room?
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
You're not gonna eat the bird, right? Don't. No, you're not eating the goldfish. No.
It was a barn
What's
swallow
wrong with
going
you?
back to her nest. I reached out for her.
No.
Suddenly,
It's chained for a reason. No. Wait, I'm a
was
cat?
a cat.
Wait, what? Huh? What? Huh? Wait, is this a dream? Okay, maybe this is a dream.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
My cat's freaking out at the bird sounds. Cider.
Coming for you, bitch. Can't escape me.
I jumped and I almost got her.
I'm surprised Cider's not freaking out more at the cat sounds.
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All
Well-
I cared about was eating that mama bird.
I mean, I'm sure your dad also, doesn't know you can just turn into a cat at will, so... And then died.
And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all
Sure.
I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Oh, this is cool. This is really cool. I like this. Oh, I gotta look down for whatever I'm after. Yo!
Rabbits.
Animorphs. I'm gonna get you, rabbit. Ah, gotcha.
I imagined
Hey, Ryan.
his face looking up and
Oh.
seeing mine through my
Oh.
talons.
Oh, God!
I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
That was brutal. That was brutal. Something bigger? What are you gonna eat that's bigger?
A mama rabbit.
Oh, a mama rabbit. Okay, that's fair. Time to roar is inevitable. Let's go.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
No. Chewing
Suddenly, I was
is
a shark.
unnecessary. Yup. Sure. What? Okay, we're all right. Okay. Yup. We were just a shark. Okay. Oh, Jesus!
And into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Come here, little fish.
I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
You don't say.
Seal! Where'd that seal go? I will eat you.
You don't escape me. What is that? There they are!
On the hunt.
Grabbed on tight. When I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
You don't say. Am I a squid? Oh. Oh. Okay. Uh-huh.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Molly, you got problems, kid.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Okay.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Why does it sound like
I'm the mac and cheese monster.
Felix? How are you doing, Felix? We're a monster. I'm doing alright.
across the water, I smelled something new.
Well.
Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Oh, but we're a new creature now. No more mac and cheese.
We're the same
slithered
creature,
onto
but
the sand,
less
And
noise.
the good smell went into an old pipe.
Yeah, you know. Feels pretty good. Feels cheesy. This game reminds me of Among the Sleep. Oh yeah, that's a good game. Am I coming out of someone's toilet? You bet I am.
I got closer and closer.
Hey, this is just conveniently Molly's room. Hi, Molly's room. How are you doing? All my stomachs.
All my stomach started growling.
Yeah, huh?
And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Alright, Molly. Okay. Alright, you little freak. God, that toothpaste was fucking bad. That was so bad.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Interesting. Okay, so I guess we get to learn all about the family. I'm kind of excited. Oh! You're a cat? I just heard a cat. Huh. Molly had a really neat room.
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Yo! That's sick! Yo, that gerbil was living the life! I guess we're done in here? No. I don't like this ASMR.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's all coming together.
Oh, thank you for the subscription, Ryan. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Oh.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories.
Enjoy your emotes.
Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Aww.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Thank you. Shrine sketches. Mole man beneath the Finch
Edie
house.
gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
Wait, win a family day out at Druid World. I want to go to Druid World.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Louis died a week before we left, but
Oh.
Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Oh. Damn. Edie sounds
Almost like a
badass.
museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their
1988 to
fortune
2010.
and misfortune.
Hey, you got to be, what, 20?
22? At least he became an adult.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and
Okay.
their newborn son, Johann. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the
Jesus.
house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
So why did Edie live so long? Okay, I can pull out of this.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
All those dead children had to come from somewhere, AJ.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
Why are all the children dying now? Maybe the curse just affects their children. Because they lived quite a while. How long is that? 57 years? So Odin lived pretty old. What about the birds? Were they cursed too? No, Derpy lived a long fucking time. Derpy lived longer than half the children in this house. They're doing pretty good. Derpy was an old bird. Bob the snake. How long okay, they lived 4 years. I don't know how long snakes normally live, but that seems low. Burpy lived 8 years. Damn, Derpy really killing it over here. Lurpy, 11 years. Close. Rob lived 17 years? Yo, never mind. Rob's the new record holder. Purpley lived 6. What about you? And Furpy lived 3 years. Alright. Well, I guess Rob the Lizard wins. Built 1937 by Sven Finch.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Edie lived a long ass time.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
My friend Bigfoot. Edith interview. Random junk. Weird America. The Finches. Home movies. Sam Medal Ceremony 68. Sam Photo Award 69. Conspiracy Now. Molly Concepts.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Yeah, because Edie knows how to have fun.
Dragon kills Finch.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Edie knows how to have fun. Looks up at the fucking death trap house full of dead children. Hey, they're here for a good time, not a long time. I guess it's a clever little piece of world building there with the tea being open. They left on a Tuesday, maybe.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Ugh.
It was a pretty big trace.
This room looks like a nightmare. Ugh. That's because, you know, there's more normal people than we think. Anyone who looks at this bathroom and goes, "I love it," there's something wrong with them. Oh, oh.
There's a secret in this bathroom.
Okay.
It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Okay, that was pretty cool. I'll admit that was pretty cool. Calvin Finch, 1950-1951.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Milton. Miltons. Chair. Hello? How's it going, Corglow? Oh yeah, this is the room with the person who slept in the room with their dead brother for a while. That's fun.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin.
Yeah, that door. Ah, that door. Yeah, they slept in the room with their dead brother, according to what our main character was saying.
And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't.
I would
like
assume they
history
were
more
alive
than
when
my
they
mom
slept
did.
together, but who knows?
How I Want to Remember My Brother
Oh,
by Sam
God.
Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Yeah!
My
That's
brother
sickle.
said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
Wait, is
At
that...
Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't.
Is that the voice of Aang from
Always
Avatar?
wanted to fly.
Sam, Calvin, dinner's ready. Coming.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
Oh my god.
I think he'd already made up his mind.
Oh,
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
yeah! Yeah!
The day he made up his mind.
See ya.
to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Does it matter that we didn't get Barbara or Edie drawn in? Did I miss stuff? I hope not.
After the funeral,
Okay, cool.
Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
That was really sad. Okay. Fort Calvin. Okay, well, there's the way out. Is there anything else in here before I dip out of here? Nope. Okay. Cool. It's the hungry caterpillar! I remember this from when I was a kid. As I die from coughing all of a sudden. I'm sorry. Yeah, the hungry caterpillar! This house is sick. This house is amazing.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Though that's a little weird. That's a weird way of putting that. But whatever. The tunnels were made exclusively for the children. It's a little weird. Shortcut, I'm gonna assume. Don't step out yet. You can look down at your feet in this game, surprisingly. Really? Oh.
Growing up,
Oh,
I
yeah.
always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Interesting. Ah. Okay. Oh, that doll is terrifying.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Okay. Maybe it's just a similar sounding voice.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
Ooh.
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been.
At 16, she was all
She'd
washed
been
up.
asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend
A little weird.
was about
Okay.
to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room.
Oh, fuck.
So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery.
Oh
Why
my
is your basement
god.
door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding
Her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course,
What?
the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Okay. What happened to Barbara? What the fuck? What?
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Yo, thank you for the thirst quench. Barb Street. Happy birthday, Barbara.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
And now we know.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Thought someone was knocking there.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
I see.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Okay.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Oh, was Walter the mole man?
Alvino cereal.
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Oh, shit. 1952 to 2005. So he lived a decent amount, 53 years? Not too bad.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Peaches!
And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can. I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
Yo, is this Fallout 5?
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Oh dear. Okay. Unfortunate.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
That is sad.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Interesting.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
No, what the fuck?
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
What?
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
Why are there chairs in the trees?
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
This is not a house, it's a goddamn art installation. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Yeah. Wait, I was just following the lights.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Oh, we're here.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. Three of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
2 had been my fault. Oh. Damn. It's a lot of dead pets. Jesus.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
10 years. 11. No, they lived a little longer. Lived the longest. Jesus. That's an entire great-grandmother's life worth of dead pets. Yeah. Walter. And Barbara.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
So that's all of Edie's children, right? Besides Sam, the only survivor. Yeah. That'd be sad. That'd be really, really sad.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
What? God, yeah, Gregory, 1 year. Jesus. Sam Finch and Gus Finch.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
Sanjay Not gonna comment on this. Everyone else is a Finch. We have one who's just not a Finch. No comments? Okay. I guess? I mean, they're in the family cemetery, so I would guess. Sanjay is in the book like Kay is, I believe. Okay. Because I can check it here. Yep, Sanjay's right. Oh, they're a leaf off the tree. Okay, so they're probably... That probably means something. Same thing as Sven.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday.
Sam and Kay, context
find everything
clue.
out for myself.
Kay was Sam's ex-wife. Okay, okay. I see then. Yeah. They married into the family.
Looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Oh yeah, I was gonna comment. She looks kind of pregnant. But I didn't want to say that, because that seems mean to say.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Pretty intense. Goose.
Basically lived on top of the fucking house, yeah. Oh?
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Go fucking parkour over your family's
have to
spooky
sit
ass
with
house
him.
while
It's a hunting
pregante.
trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
What?
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. The camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee. Hey,
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be... Great shot, Don! I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Great family photo.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me. Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something. Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
I mean, it's not a bad way to look at it, or to do it. If you're cursed to death anyway, might as well live life to the fullest. Okay, Finch.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Finch control.
Dear God, that picture. Kens, a baby is dead after some respect. Yeah, but why that mouth so big, though? Why that baby mouth so big?
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
What? You tell me your baby had fucking, like... had psychic powers?
Yeah. I command the ducks. Be gone, duck. Oh yeah, I'm a frog.
Hand over, Gregory.
Fuck you! No, fuck you, I'm playing with my... Yeah, go away.
Hold on, sweetie.
Yeah, I'm playing with my frogs, fuck off.
Alright, back to it.
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
Yeah. Oh, bubbles.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like.
Backflipper. The ducks.
Come on, get him. Nope, I gotta knock him off.
So much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination.
Arr!
Whatever it was he saw,
Get the whale! Yeah, get the whale!
it sure made him happy.
Yeah!
I know how silly.
Yeah, bubble bath. It's mine now.
But I'm worried about a baby being too happy.
Give me the bubbles.
You were slipping away.
All right, whale, let's go. What?
Sorry about that, Gregory.
No.
I know you did everything
No.
you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us.
Yeah.
About
Back to the fun times. No, you getting trapped in the bubbles? Must free y'all. Wait, something's...
There's so much I don't understand. About Gregory.
I became the frog.
About everything.
The Animorphs.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
That what he did? Well, that's a fucking nightmare.
I'm going down the drain, Papa. Never to be seen again. Goodbye.
And he'd want you to be happy too.
Every time you take a shit, you'll think of me in your sewers.
Love, Sam.
That was depressing. I don't understand how the baby managed to drown themselves. I mean, I'm assuming that was all hyperbole. I don't think the baby had psychic frog powers. But who knows? The one Ifter goes all goof on is the one where the baby drowned.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry.
You're not wrong.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding
Oh,
in
yeah.
our yard.
Yo! Yeah! What does that say? I want to collect it.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Oh.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Die bomber. Get him. Can't stop my kites.
What's the next line of words? Oh!
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Oh! You get fucked.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
I don't realize how creepy that totem pole is. Jesus.
That's Edie's kids, I just
Rain came
realized.
down in
Yeah.
buckets then, but but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam.
Oh!
But I didn't. Until we found you.
Damn. That's cool that they wrapped it around the kite string.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Gus looked pretty tight. Don, Gregory, Gus. Race flag, breakfast, quiet time, duties, Don, sweep trash, Gus, mop, mow yard, Greg, be a baby. Well, he did that for 1 year, but he did it to his best. I was expecting lightning hitting the kite. Yeah, it's still neglect.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
That baby babied so hard he baby drowned.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Oh. There's Sanjay. Copy passport, meet with relief rep, after school teaching, pack, fly to India.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
Holy shit, that's the first time anyone's redeemed that. Alright. My name is Ifter, and you're watching Disney Channel. Woo.
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Thank you, Iron, for the redemption. I actually forgot I made that a redemption.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Edith, Barbara, Gus, Molly, Sven, Odin, Calvin, Sam, and Gregory. All my dead children.
But it didn't last.
I can redeem it like 3 times, but I don't know what to do for it. Well, yeah, you can think of something, I'm sure.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Go up here? I guess I can. Iron Kens just be cursed like me. Well, they could. Yeah, that's progress. I'm gonna come back. Milton. Milton's
After Milton
1992.
disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Milton had a very nice place. Sapler could be a scary thing to have in the hands of, say, Nugget or vice versa. That's true. That's true. I know the dangers. I know. Whoa. Iron Lake. Well, so you gotta redeem that if you want me to say that. Also, this is one kick-ass room. Yeah! I'm digging this. This room is cool. I don't know why Milton has a crown on, but Milton looks like a cool dude. The
Milton
magic
Finch
paintbrush.
The magic paintbrush.
Oh, it's a flip book. Yo! Oh my god. Ah! I thought I just had to hold. I didn't know I could make it go faster. There we go. Interesting. Painted himself a doorway.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Oh, that's cool. Different. So you did like a different art style for Milton. That's neat.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
There's the doorway. Something tells me Milton fell off
Whatever
the
Milton had
tower.
found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out. Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Into the houseboat, I guess.
Louis's room smelled very, very
What?
familiar.
No.
That part of him lived on.
Oh, get back in. Go. There we go. You had a Super Nintendo? Actually, no. That would be a... Well, not
Louis
a real
and I spent
console,
a lot of
so it
time
doesn't matter.
playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Oh, there's the TV. I was like, where's the TV? Theodore's Quality Cigars.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony
okay.
of his daily
The blood concerned me instantly. Also, still a little concerned regardless.
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it.
Oh, I don't like this.
He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. He took it very seriously.
I don't like where this is going.
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
Oh, it's taking up more and more of my screen.
He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Yeah.
And songs
everyone's
for them to
happy
play.
in Lewistopia. Yeah.
He talked about starting a band.
Give me the fish. Yeah.
And he was always
Yeah.
humming something.
Yeah. Give me my fish.
Every day his imagination grew stronger.
Yeah, fish. Out of my way. Yeah.
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Well, now, fish, where should we go? We gotta go up the river. Yeah, come on, fish.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on.
Conquered
New
it.
Lewis.
Mine.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis! Oh, that's a good one.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
No. I'm conquering, Mother! She doesn't understand me. She doesn't understand the powers I wield.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a...
Come on. Come on. Beautiful prince.
Beautiful prince.
Yeah.
The prince was on his own quest for...
Radiant rainbows.
Radiant rainbows.
Pog. Oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah. I have a feeling I was supposed to go underneath them and not hit all of them, but it's fine.
Followed the sound of his...
Electric sitar, come on.
Electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Fish.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Oh my god, that's a lot of fish. Come on. Slow down with the fish, I can't keep up. No.
But he was so
Hot
proud
Prince!
of having created it.
Hot Prince, no! Come back.
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Yes.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
To make out with the Hot Prince. Why are you leaving? Come back.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
What? This is a really sad story. Kano Palace. Legalize marijuana.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Not even chopping fish anymore. What did he do?
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
What? No, I don't like where this is going. I don't... Okay, we're not gonna do what I thought we were about to do. Hey, you're not grabbing the fish, you just kinda... Okay.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
Oh my god! That is a giant cat! Kitty!
His prince waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
Yeah, okay. Alright. I see where this is going. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, here we go.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Jesus Christ. All right.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
My brother was really cool. That is incredibly sad. All right. No! God damn it. I was trying to get off the boat, not go back in it. Come on. Off the boat, off the boat, off the boat. Oh, is the door inside? Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, I see, right over there. There we go.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
Packing peanuts? Those are crunchy for packing peanuts.
But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Jesus. To teach and to learn. Dawn Finch. O God, you have called your servants to ventures of which we cannot see the ending, by paths as yet untrodden, through perils unknown. Give us faith to go out with good courage, not knowing where we go, but only that your hand is leading us and your love supporting us. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
I don't like where this is going.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. until supper when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Oh. Oh, shit.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Doesn't sound like your mom knew much about any of the secret entrances if they bothered trying to seal rooms.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Hey, Arrow. How you doing? Oh, those gloves are really good.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
Yo.
That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground.
Yo, the pizza here.
There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
Sleepy? I feel
Never
you.
thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone.
God damn.
The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
No, we're not doing this right now. We're not doing this right now.
But now I hope you'll never see it.
God damn it.
I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself.
We about to pop out the pussy.
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
I came to stream at the weird comic part. Now I'm confused and sad. I blame Ken's. Well,
this is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
God damn. 1999, 2017. She was... God, how old would that be? 18? She was 18 when she died? A Story by Giant Sparrow for Shirley Dallas, 1948 to 2013. Woo! Alright! Oh, God! That was really good. Just really, really sad. It's definitely an artsy game, but I like that. I kind of like that they don't really go into whether the curse is real or not, or if it's just their belief of the curse that makes it real. They said it's a family curse, but she also says at some point that maybe it was their belief in the curse that made the curse real. It could also just be that they were a really unlucky family. Yeah, who was the dad? That's a good question, Chu. Who was the dad? Ken's. Some people say Edith's belief in this curse and nonchalantness about death is what led to a lot of Edie's bad choices as a parent. Ah, okay. I could see that. I could see that. There's a whole essay I watched about it. I might have to look for that, because that could be really interesting. You are Papa Iron. I'm really curious about how some of them died, because, like, What happened to Barbara? I mean, she was ripped apart, but I'm assuming the monsters weren't really monsters. A lot of them are mysterious. People think it was a murderer. Maybe her boyfriend was the murderer, etc. Okay. Because they also said he disappeared. So that's very possible. Walter thought there was a monster coming after him. I thought it was a murderer that killed them both. Yeah, like, I guess it's possible. Because they don't really say what happened to the murderer at the end of that. Like, he fell off, disappeared, and then he doesn't show up for the rest of the little story. It's just the monsters suddenly appear. Trick or treat, smell my feet. Scarred for life, too. This definitely feels like one of those games you could really, like... For, like, some of the deaths, you could really think about, like, what exactly happened. The end. Molly, I'm assuming, just ate a bunch of bad stuff and died, is what I'm assuming. The replay a story option is now available. Select Edith to play from the beginning. The toothpaste! It was the toothpaste. You know... Give me some fucking candy to eat. Okay, so you can just wait, what? How does... What? Kens, usually see people eat the holly and guess it was those berries. They couldn't kill a person, but that's what people guess. But you didn't even do that, so I believe it's just supposed to be left a mystery. Yeah. Because that was my assumption, is that she just ate something bad and it killed her. Their stories are at the end, Edie's and Dawn. Oh, okay. So wait, are these going to be special if I play them, or is it just going to be... Oh, so you already did them. Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. I liked that. Then play Suicide of Rachel Foster, and now we played this. Alright, now that we've had time to reflect on death, I'm gonna go get food. Yeah, and I'm gonna end stream and raid somebody. You have a good one, Kens. That's the wrong button. That's the button we're looking for. Alright, let's see who is streaming today. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you all had a good time. One of these days, I gotta play one of these story-driven games instead of gun, go, shoot. They're fun to play for just like a relaxing time, even if they are depressing. Cat? Cat? Oh, the cat in the background. Yeah, it's me. It's me. A-Stick drew it. Let's see. Who is live right now? We got... Miranda's streaming. I might raid Miranda. They're doing some art stuff. Miranda's super cool. They're an amazing person and a great artist. Let's go ahead and give them some love. Yeah, y'all go say hey to Miranda. keep them company. I don't know how long they've been going, probably a while, but oh well. But yeah. I will catch you all next time. Thank you. No problem, Kira. No problem. Or Kirala. I will catch you all probably next week for stream. Until then, have a good one. Goodbye.